Good evening, everyone. I greet you with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. I'm Muhammad Abu Talib, the Imam of the Islamic Association of Raleigh, and I'm so humbled and so grateful to be tonight in the presence of all of you, in the presence of the families, in the presence of so many who were blessed to know our three winners and to live amongst them at their schools, at their communities, and in their homes. And, you know, this event was so shaking that I think it's one of those that you remember where you were throughout your life. I remember 1 year ago when I received this tragic news. I remember exactly where I was. I was a traveling speaker, and I was so shaken by this act of hatred, this act of tragedy that took these three bright shining stars from our midst, that I canceled all of the plans for those days and started to share their story and share their legacy and interact with communities as I would travel and talk about how we could move forward from this atrocity. And I was moved by them because they accomplished so much. Deah, Yusor, and Razan, in 20 years, they had touched so many people. They had done so much good. They had done more than many people accomplish in an entire lifetime. But I would have never imagined that in the years since, my family and I would be blessed to join the Raleigh and Triangle community, and my appreciation of their legacy rose to another level. When I saw their families, when I saw their childhood friends, when I could see those that had felt their warm embrace, that had seen the sparkle in their eyes as they dreamed of a better world, my appreciation of their lives rose to an entirely new level. I am reminded of one of my favorite verses in the Holy Quran. O people, we have created you from a single pair of a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another. And as we remember their legacy, I reflect on that verse. I reflect on the division, the dehumanization, the hatred and fear of the other that had to precede that horrific loss that shook our community and shakes it to this day. I want to share with you today, I never met Deah, Yusor, or Razan, but in reality, I did. I met them when I saw their families and how much they work and invest outside of this tragedy to now move our communities forward and uphold their legacy, to move us forward with faith and to remind us of why they lived. I'm reminded of them when I see so many people describe them as having a smile on their faces. Remember what they lived for. And I don't want any of us to forget that tonight. That we remember their legacy not because of the tragic manner that they were taken from us, not because of the horrific way that they were killed and died, but because of the beautiful way that they lived, the legacy they leave behind. And today, I am honored to stand amongst you in solidarity, to stand as a member of this community, and to remind one another and remind the world that we choose to know one another. We choose to come together rather than to be divided by hate. We choose empathy over fear. We choose community over division. And we choose compassion over hatred. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you.
how these three amazing young people lived their lives. Deah, Yusor, and Razan exemplified the best of NC State and will forever serve as role models for student body. Each was not only an outstanding student, and they were, but each individually lived their lives dedicated to making the world a better place, to using their intellect, to using their talents, and their skills to make this a better place. We want, as a university, to do everything we can to remember their legacy, inspire others here at NC State to live a life exemplary of that legacy.
This evening we gather to remember these three lives that forever changed this campus and honor their too short but very impactful time on earth and commit to carrying forward their legacies. Deah, Yusor, and Razan were full of life, full of promise, full of light. They expressed their ideals that we all share as members of the NC State and Carolina communities. In their joyous and enthusiastic embrace of life's possibilities, in their love of learning, in their commitment to service to help others, in their creative spirits, in their desire to make a difference in the world around them. Our three winners served and continue to serve as a beacon to our campus and the broader community about the importance of diversity, acceptance, inclusion, tolerance. And although February 10, 2015 was a very, very dark day, the bright lights of Deah, Yusor, and Razan continued to shine. We've witnessed it time and time again in the weeks and months that have followed, beginning with the unprecedented and outpouring, heartfelt support from members of our campus communities and from people all over the world. We've been repeatedly inspired by the many stories, the testimonials, the social media posts and videos about how Deah, Yusor, and Razan lived their lives and dedicated their lives to service, to helping others in need and to bringing joy to people around them. We've all been continually encouraged by the grace, dignity, and goodness and resilience of their family and friends. We have all been motivated by the number of people who have worked to honor their memories and to carry forward their legacies through several important announcements, projects, programs, including the Lighthouse Project being headed by Deah's brother, Faris. These initiatives also include widespread efforts to create new scholarships at UNC Chapel Hill and at NC State that will honor in perpetuity these exceptional students and what they exemplify. And what Deah, Yusor, and Razan exemplified was the best of NC State and Chapel Hill. Our three winners will forever serve as role models for our student bodies. Always strive to help those in need. They raised money to help Syrian refugees in Turkey. They fed homeless in Durham and were actively engaged in building an interfaith Habitat for Humanity home in Wake County, bringing together the Muslim, Christian, Jewish, and Hindu faiths to build low-cost housing for families in need. Knowing the importance of education, all three excelled academically, while also living their lives promoting peace and acceptance, qualities our communities and our world need now as much as ever. Recent events around the country and within our own community and our own cities continue to remind us that our nation has not progressed as far and as fast as we would all hope in our journey toward cultural competency. As our nation continues an important national conversation about issues of race, religion, intolerance, and discrimination, critical matters that in one way or another touch all of our lives, our campuses must work to ensure the free and open exchange of ideas and opinions, while also ensuring that all members of our communities are treated with dignity and respect. We must always strive to stay committed to acceptance of both individuals and ideas that may be different than our own. For these will continue to move these outstanding institutions in our society forward. We must always remember our three winners and their examples. It's now our challenge and our responsibility to carry their legacies forward. Tonight, this event is aptly titled A Day of Light because of the power of these three lights brought on our campus. I'm so proud to have known them and so proud to celebrate the legacy that they've left and proud that our communities come together to remember this legacy. I'm very pleased to have my colleague and dear friend, Dr. Carol Holt, the Chancellor of UNC Chapel Hill, here with us tonight. We've been together throughout this event and bring our campus together in ways that we'll continue to celebrate their legacies together. So, Chancellor.
Good evening, everyone. I am humbled and grateful and honored and privileged to be with you all here today. It means so much to be speaking. Friends, colleagues, students, community members from NC State, and members from Carolina who have also come here today in honor of three beautiful hearts, three amazing young people, Deah, Yusor, and Razan. I think I probably speak for so many of us when I say that I have learned so much from them. And I've been learning from them and from their families some of the most profound lessons in life. The lessons about love, about service, about life. And I think I can say that from the deepest part of my heart, I'm grateful that they have walked this earth with us and that we are here today celebrating their inspiration. I was changed and moved, as I'm sure everyone was here, by that tragedy. But even more so, I've been moved to learn from so many people how to take their legacy, who they were, and how that can be put into action for the people here, the people in our state, and our nation, and millions of people around the world who have looked to see what has happened in the last years and what will happen as we look forward. I want to take a moment to speak directly to their families. I want to thank you. You have opened your hearts to us at a time of grief and tragedy and taught us more about how to come together as a community than I could have ever dreamed possible. You've invited us into your lives. I've been invited into the mosque in a most meaningful experience to me. You have shown us what it's like to raise children that can do anything and be inspirational to everyone. And you've shown us so much about communities who create them. And we are so grateful to you for that. I'd like to speak to the students that are here and the faculty and the staff in the communities. But in the last year, I've been particularly moved by what our students have done. And these are students from both of these wonderful universities who have created events and have done more to honor the legacy of our three winners than, again, you could have dreamed possible. The Deah Day at the School of Dentistry, where 300 students came together and dedicated a day of service throughout the community. Just 2 nights ago, the Muslim Student Association at Carolina brought together an event that had hundreds of students and community members that filled boxes of food that will feed more than 25,000 people in the world. It has been, and you continue to be, a model to us. You've seen a need, and you're helping us meet that need, and you're doing it in such a powerful teaching way. We're grateful, very grateful to all of you. And I'd also like to thank Chancellor Woodson. We really feel that we will be forever bound in our grief in that moment. But it also cemented for the two of us our resolve to help these two great universities, these amazing communities, the Wolf Pack and the Tar Heel Nations, to build upon this wonderful legacy that we have been learning and honoring for the three winners. So thank you so much. It's a real honor to be with you tonight.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. I'm Mahmoud Tohmaz, the current president of the Muslim Students Association here at NC State. I'd like to personally thank the Chancellor Woodson and Chancellor Folt for the tremendous amount of support they've given to both the Raleigh and Chapel Hill communities. They've stood by our side to ensure that we have everything we need to ease the sorrow and pain we have felt since that day 1 year ago. Deah, Yusor, and Razan were tremendous individuals. I've had the pleasure of knowing and working with Deah and Yusor through the MSA, and I will always miss Deah's warm and bright smile, Yusor's humble and soft character, and although I never knew Razan personally, I've heard of her amazing artistic talent. They say that time heals all wounds. I think we all learned that how false that statement is. However, it is our community that has eased the pain, and we are all here to support one another. I do believe that our three winners are smiling right now as we stand here together as one community. And inshallah, God willing, I'll be able to see that smile once again. We are honored this evening to have with us members of the Barakat and abu-Salha families. We'll hear from members of the Barakat and abu-Salha families as they share their remarks, and we will also begin lighting candles, starting by the stage and then moving backward. Please keep your candles lit until we conclude our Day of Light event. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, and peace be upon you all. I've been speaking about these three giants so much that I might have ran out of words. And if you heard me today at UNC Chapel Hill, you may find me redundant or repetitive, but I'm never tired of speaking about them. The night of February 10 was a night in infamy. We went home heartbroken and sad. What tomorrow would bring, except darkness and sadness and tears, and we did not know how extensive our loss would have been. But then we woke up next morning to see an amazing response from a community that came up together in thousands, that came to the funeral. Great institutions, UNC in Chapel Hill and NC State in Raleigh, backing us up and treating us like family. It's like the whole country was rising up for us. We're not here to mourn today or to cry, but we're here to celebrate their legacy. 3 children that were raised to believe in their faith and to be good Muslims, practicing Muslims. I have to admit my own two daughters picked up their manners more from their mother than from me. But I did teach them the interpretation of Quran. And I taught them in details how diverse the Muslim culture was, and that it encompassed all kinds of people from all kinds of nations. Just come to our mosque and see how colorful we are. Just like USA. We taught them that they should treat their neighbors the way they want their neighbors to treat them. And we embraced the saying of the Prophet Muhammad, and that was also said by other prophets, including Jesus, do unto your neighbor like you want to be done unto you. They practiced what we taught them. They loved philanthropy, and they fed the hungry from our own kitchen. They fed the homeless, and they came home tearful for what they saw, people in their middle ages lining up for a hot sandwich or a meal. They went to the refugee camps, both Deah and Yusor did, and they did that again after they were accepted at UNC School of Dentistry, which means they did not do it for resume or for self-progress at all. They wanted it for God and for faith, and they expected no notoriety, no acknowledgement, and no notification from anybody else. Some people who are scared by xenophobia said at points that Islam would be a threat to their way of life, the American way of life. And I just told our friends in the press conference, if you look carefully, this country is a rainbow of ways of life. There's the Irish way of life, the Scottish way of life, the Black American way of life, the native Indian American way of life, and there's now the Indian American way of life, and the Jewish American way of life, and we're just the Muslim Americans, another one of the American ways of life. We're grateful for a president who spoke up for us. We're grateful for a Congress that heard us when we went, me and Deah Barakat, and talked to them on a congressional briefing. Actually today, Congressman Keith Ellison spoke on the Congress floor about our three winners and this great community. We're grateful to every good American or every faith who came to our home and who prayed with us and who cried with us. We're grateful that we live in a country that we bet our lives on, and we were not disappointed at all. The day after the crime, some foreign leaders tried to reach out to us and maybe invest in this politically, and we said, no, this will be an American story. And guess what? We were not disappointed at all. It was an American story that will go down in history. As we celebrate them, we ask you all to do two things for us to help our families. First of all, before I ask for these two things, I will say, pray for Razan, Deah, and Yusor in the name of God, in English, who is Allah in Arabic and who is Elohim in Hebrew, the same God, one God. Pray for them all. And then after that, if you go to social media, try and visit #ForwardWithFaith. And after I speak to you, maybe Faris can tell you more about the Project Lighthouse. The second request I have from you is to go to www.our3winners.org. Pray, act, share, and donate. Deah started this endowment wanting to raise for the Syrian refugees in Turkey $20,000, selling toothbrushes and toothpaste for $5 a piece. And after he passed away, it went up to hundreds of thousands. And I can tell you today, and after we gave $50,000 to the Syrian American Medical Society, who's doing awesome work in Syria and around Syria, we're approaching 700,000, and we hope that with your help and the whole nation of all faiths and colors and shades, we can reach 5 million in a couple of years. We plan to invest this money and distribute annually the profits to all kinds of charities or scholarships or refugees or people in need. I know you all came out to support us on a very cold night, that one may have his thoughts freeze in his head, but with the grace of God, we're able to talk and share thoughts. And I just want to tell you, all I see is beautiful colors, just like this country is and just like the founding fathers wanted it to be. Please get out there and vote and claim your democracy. Stay the superpower, the beacon of liberty and freedom, the land of the free and the home of the brave. We will not allow hate or people who use hate and bigotry to win this or to claim this land and make it look not like the world has seen it all through the years. Thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless America and God bless the world. And thank you, Wolfpack, and thank you, Tar Heel. I'll leave the microphone there for Faris Barakat, my new son and the brother of Deah Barakat.
Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you all. My name is Faris, I'm Deah's brother. I look to the crowd and honestly, I see a lot of familiar faces. And I think I'll kind of approach this at that. At some level, I feel like I've done so much talking that I want to hear more from you guys. So over the next year, please, literally, I love hearing stories about Deah, Yusor, and Razan. I want to know how you're doing. Just a quick point. If you are in need of some help, there are some counseling services you can reach out to and get help from, and you shouldn't be ashamed to do so or think it's weird. Right, Suzanne? She's a doctor. She approves that message. Dr. Abu-Salha mentioned a bit forward with faith, and what that's about is, many of you might have heard the golden rule. Every faith teaches, do unto others as you want done to yourself. And we thought if we each looked into our own faiths, we would learn that lesson and we would do unto others as we want done to ourselves. The endowment is the financial form of how their legacy lives on. But I so look forward to seeing how each and every one of you take lessons learned from this story to embody that in your own life. Deah and Yusor loved each other deeply. They gave back. And I don't even know why I'm saying this. Again, you guys are the friends. You guys tell me how they did that. But at the end of the day, I'll preface this with saying this. I think the one mistake I made a year ago, was I made it seem that Muslims maybe were like this, crazy for death people kind of a thing, where I was kind of celebrating in a sense, almost saying like, oh yeah, they're dead and we're happy. So I want to fix that. We live and we love life. It's an opportunity to do good and to stop bad. But I also will say, as a person of faith, that it is my hope and my sincere aspiration that we meet up with them, because I think they got wonderful things going for them. Over the past year, one of the toughest questions was, what would you tell Deah, Yusor, and Razan when you see them again? I would tell my brother that I'm incredibly proud of him. I would tell Yusor, I wish you would invite me to your awesome mansion. I know her and Deah are happy together forever. And then I told Razan, and I was kind of like speaking to their grave, almost doing this, like, I'd like to meet who your husband is now, because he's got to be one cool dude. And I think that's what helps us in terms of faith, but we have a lot of work to do. The narrative over a parking dispute is one that's a problem because it continues to threaten us. It continues to threaten Muslim women and Muslims in America. If this was an issue over a parking dispute, then Rosa Parks' issue was over a bus seat and nothing more. Rosa Parks had a struggle. It is time for us, through our actions, to kind of counter what it is that is our struggle today, but with full intentions of doing so out of the patriotism we have for this country and the calling that God teaches us to do. Can you guys say a word? Can you say something, please? No? Well, I really wanted them to say something, but I just want to stand here and look pretty. Again, please pray for them. Answer that question for yourself. When you see them, what would you want to tell them? The Paul Walker song comes to mind. Something along the lines, it's been a long day or long journey, my friend, but I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. And live life fully. Life is awesome. It's to die for. Thank you.
So as you can tell, the wind is problematic for candles. If I could get you to get your cell phones out, hopefully you have a candle app. Thank you, Dr. abu-Salha, Suzanne, and Father Barakat. Your strength and inspiration are truly remarkable. It is a gift to be allowed to walk the journey of moving forward with you. My name is Justine Hollingshead, and I serve as the Chief of Staff for our Vice Chancellor and Dean with Academic and Student Affairs here at NC State. I had the humbling honor last year of helping to lead the university's efforts in response to the tragic loss of Deah, Yusor, and Razan. Responding during those initial hours and weeks following has had a profound impact on me personally and professionally, not unlike for many of us here tonight. While I cannot begin to imagine what the tragic loss of a brother, sister, son, or daughter feels like for the Barakat and abu-Salha families, I can empathize and know it borders on unimaginable. I have witnessed us as a community working alongside each other, regardless of school, together as one pack, one voice, and one family. Out of the darkness has come light. We will live on in the spirit of our three winners, three beautiful souls, Deah, Yusor, and Razan. Edith Wharton says, there are two ways of spreading light, to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. The proof of humanity and light is all around us tonight. We just have to know where to look. For me, I choose to be the mirror that reflects all of us here tonight. Join me in a moment of silence as we each reflect on how we can personally live a life exemplary of our three winners' legacy. Thank you for your support and for being a part of this memorial event tonight. Feel free to stay and talk with one another. We will have volunteers collecting candles as you leave if you choose not to keep yours. Join us tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. in Tally Student Union's Stewart Theater as we host NC State alum Muhammad Musa for a spoken word multimedia performance entitled Shattered Glass. The goal of Shattered Glass is to continue the conversation about the tragedy and to reflect on what it means for our communities. The piece is also a commemoration of the victims and their legacies. Please be safe as you travel home, and go in peace. Go Pack.